Hey guys, it's Ben with Aqua, Arizona Windsurfing, Kiteboarding, and Wingfoiling Association. Well, winter, at least as we know it here in the desert Southwest, is just about over. And during that time, in the past couple months, I've had a chance to try out 3 different full-on dry suits, which you see behind me. The Ocean Rodeo Soul, the Ocean Rodeo Heat, as well as the O'Neill Boost. And so today we're going to look at not only what it's like to wear these dry suits for winging, but also windsurfing as well. And we're going to do a comparison and basically what I thought the advantages and disadvantages of each suit, and kind of what I thought of them as a whole, and which I thought came out ahead in terms of the best suit, the most comfortable suit, as well as the best overall value. So stick with us for our dry off, and we'll be back right after the intro. Okay, we're going to start off with a quick rundown of each suit. We're going to go from, we'll go from left to right here, or right to left actually. So at first we have the Ocean Rodeo Heat right here, and let's see what some of the things that set it apart would be on the sleeve cuffs, neoprene, not rubber or latex-like material. It's an integrated jacket. This jacket does not come off, it just zips up. A real nice feature is the standby mode. In other words, this top that has the head seal or gasket can actually zip off partially, and you can stow it in the jacket like you just saw. And really good for the warmer days, especially here, spring riding. Not even spring riding, if winter and the sun is out, you could easily cook in this. And so this was a really nice feature. In terms of the head gasket, kind of this sort of quasi neoprene material on the outside. I call it a fish mouth or a clamshell opening, but the inner liner is this sort of, I don't know what you would call it, a rubbery, plasticky kind of liner that is super soft, extremely comfortable. But it's not a rubber seal. It's not a latex seal that will really keep the water out. And so instead it relies on this little bungee type cinch. Hopefully you can see with a little spring clip that keeps it cinched up, and then you hopefully keep that locked down with a little Velcro stick there. Let's see what else about this suit. Is the only one of the 3 that does not have ankle seals. Rather, they've gone with these booties or socks. There is nothing in the sock. It's just this straight out waterproof material. And so this is a medium, and it's really the only part that did not fit me like really well, just because I tend to wear a shoe size smaller than what this sock is. But I used it with booties or aqua shoes that were a little bit larger than I usually wear, and it was just fine. You can't use a split toe. If some of you like the I don't know, the toe shoes or the split toe surf booties, it's not going to work because it doesn't accommodate that. So some of the differences between the Soul is there is no relief zipper, so that is a definite distinction. And I I think that's just about it. There is a, for whatever reason, there is a pocket of my leftover jack links in there. There is a pocket. It's not a waterproof pocket, so don't put anything that you're not afraid of getting wet in there. And I guess it's for like an MP3 player or something like that, and it's got a little hole, I don't know if you can see that, for your headphones. So I guess some people have waterproof MP3 players or what have you. So let's move on now to the O'Neill Boost. And it is, again, a full dry suit. Some of the things that set it apart, well, let's talk about what is dry suit like about it. And that is here rubber or latex gaskets, very thick, probably thicker than you normally see, super high quality, very comfortable. The neck actually, I'll say that sets it apart. The neck is actually a neoprene, so more of a wetsuit type material, though not to the extent of this wetsuit type material, but very, very close. And so it was super comfortable, and it's not going to be, I think, as prone to outgassing, drying out, cracking or flaking like some of your more traditional wetsuit rubber neck seals would be. Ankle seals as well, seal by way of the rubber material that I mentioned earlier. This was a medium. I was a little bit concerned that it might be a little bit too large for me, but it actually ended up working really well, in part because well, all three of them have suspenders, internal suspenders that can not only keep the suit up for you, but also actually help you kind of adjust or customize the fit a little bit. Other than that, the O'Neill Boost is a traditional dry suit. It has zip in the back, which is how you get in and how you seal everything out. The same goes for both ocean rodeos. However, you get in kind of, I guess you consider it more of a front zip or a top zip. So last but certainly not least is the most expensive of the three suits retail, and that would be the Ocean Rodeo Soul. What you see here was I was able to get this from somebody who was selling it. It was a small, and which is probably more kind of, I think, my size, but as you can see, it's really not, looks wise, it's not that much different. So some of the features that are pretty cool on it, again, it has an internal pocket, but again, same issues as with the Heat. I don't know how practical that is. It does come with a fairly nice weatherproof hood. I didn't bother to use that, but you know, if you're in areas that, you know, you get real winter weather, that might be kind of a nice feature. Again, integrated jacket. The jacket does not come off. Neither does the zipper, apparently. Okay, there we go. And the standby mode, which really sets the Ocean Rodeo apart, and I thought was a fantastic feature. You can zip off this guy here and just stuff it. And yeah, I mean, you can walk around, you know, go to a restaurant after, or you know, whatever, get a beer or something like that, and nobody really even knows that you have a dry suit on, really. With the Ocean Rodeo Soul, traditional rubber gaskets, really, I'd say it probably as thick as the Boost. Super high quality, very tight at first, because it's effectively a new suit, so it requires some breaking in and certainly probably some trimming if you're anything like me. Other features, relief zipper. This was pretty nice to have as a guy. Ladies, I'm sorry, you're out of luck on all three suits, I guess. But so this was definitely nice to have during breaks, just to kind of run up to the portalet or the your beach's rest area. Just make sure you zip it back up, of course. In terms of, they've got some nice additional padding on the knees too, which I thought was a nice feature. Particularly if you're windsurfing or winging. For those of you who knee start, but even I don't knee start, but I get on the board, I have to use my knees at least somewhat. So that was that's definitely a nice touch to have. Ankle seals, same deal as with the O'Neill. Rubber, a very thick, very high quality rubber material that seals out the water from your legs. And that's the overview of the Ocean Rodeo Soul, O'Neill Boost, Ocean Rodeo Heat. Now let's take a look at how they did in real life riding. Okay, so let's talk about what I liked with the Ocean Rodeo Heat. Super comfortable suit. The neoprene wrist seals were attractive to me just because, to me, they're going to last quite a bit longer than your rubber or latex type traditional dry suit seals or gaskets. So consequently, they were really easy to put on and take off without allowing really any kind of water in. So it was almost they're almost like the wrist seals of like a semi-dry suit. Very similarly, absolutely loved the neck seal. As you might imagine, the most comfortable of the three suits around my neck. That fish mouth or clamshell type system, and more importantly, whatever is lining the interior of that neck seal, you just didn't even feel it. You could literally ride all day with it, and it never ever. It just never even came to mind. Also, I will say that the booties, in the couple times I went out with this suit, both wingfoiling as well as windsurfing, it did the job. It kept my feet dry. There were a few times where I swore, it's like, oh yeah, my feet have got to be soaked when I take this suit off. And when I did, my feet were a little damp, but that was almost entirely because of perspiration. And not because of any water intrusion. So they did a really good job there. Okay, let's talk about some of the things I didn't like. And you gotta start with the gaskets, because this is not a traditional dry suit, at least in my mind, because it has the neoprene seals on the wrists. At the end of the sessions where I did try this suit out, I did sense a little bit of dampness. I wouldn't even go so far as to say wetness at the end of my sleeves or at the cuffs of the fleece I was wearing underneath. More to that point, though, with that neck seal, because it's not a rubber or latex, typical dry suit type seal. And anyways, because of that, water is slightly more apt to enter than with the other two dry suits that have more traditional neck seals or gaskets of rubber. The other thing is this, unlike its more expensive cousin, the Heat does not come with a relief or a P zipper. Again, for you guys, with this suit, you're not going to be able to go to the John at the beach or the portalet or whatever and just whip it out, or rather unzip the P zipper first, whip it out and go when you need to. So that's kind of a drawback. Um, it didn't really, well, it would have been a nice to have. I don't think it was a deal breaker for me, mainly because the suit is so darn easy to take on and off because of those neoprene wrist seals as well as the whatever you want to call it, neck seal. It's so easy to take off and then put on again that it really, really didn't bother me when I hit the head a couple times. And honestly, after going out a few times with this suit, I really feel that while it's not going to be completely waterproof around the neck or water repellent around the neck, I think if you make sure to cinch it up, the neck seal really, really tight, and then maybe after every set before you go back out, make sure that you continue to cinch that up tight, and also zip up the jacket um, all the way up. I think that very high collar of the integrated jacket actually serves to be an additional um, splash guard against unwanted, water potentially coming into that neck seal. Okay, so the O'Neill Boost is a traditional bag style suit. The As with the Ocean Rodeo Heat, the O'Neill um, Boost that I got was a medium as well. The uh, ankle and wrist seals are so high quality and so thick. Now, after I took this thing out a couple times, I finally carefully trimmed them down to a length on each wrist as well as each ankle seal that was much more comfortable than was initially. And I also took about, I'd say, at least a centimeter off the neck seal. I could probably take a little bit more too. This medium did not fit as well as the medium Ocean Rodeo Heat. However, it was not bad, particularly after I purged it adequately. When I'd come out of the cold water, the thing would just like shrink wrap around me. So I never felt that it was, super bulky. In fact, I preferred actually the medium because of its spaciousness. I was able to wear some like fleece joggers, some really tight fleece pants underneath, as well as athletic moisture wicking t-shirt under a quarter zip fleece. It all fit together really, really well. I never felt uncomfortable or overly restrictive or overly baggy or anything like that. So, as you might imagine, with the rubber ankle and wrist seals, there was essentially zero water intrusion during my sessions with it. The neck neoprene seal similarly did a really good job, particularly with how long or how high it sits, I guess, on your neck. Did a really nice job of keeping all water out. The seal is so tight, in fact, that you really have to kind of go out of your way to purge the suit more than once. So if I did have any dampness or wetness, it was only around like the neck region. And honestly, I think half of that was perspiration. And then the other was just because when I would purge it during my session or during my set, I'm sure water would escape from my gloves or whatever and go down my neck. Um, Disadvantages, really not a ton with any of these suits, but particularly the O'Neill Boost. I guess if you don't like cold feet, then having the option of having ankle seals is not going to be that attractive to you. In fact, I would actually prefer to have these seals, the rubber seals, as opposed to socks that are too large, as with the Ocean Rodeo Heat in my case. Some other disadvantages, there is no standby mode with the
O'Neill boost. Once you're in, you're in. Meaning that if it's kind of warm on the beach or a sunny day, you could get temperatures could be warming up inside that suit. Also, the zipper, it's not really a disadvantage, but the zipper is quite robust, and so you either have to have a friend there to kind of help make sure you're nice and sealed up, or you can employ this kind of little trick that I learned off YouTube and use a tie down strap. As with the Ocean Rodeo Heat, there is no P zipper or relief zipper. However, going to the bathroom in the portalets, it wasn't too bad. You gotta just kind of be careful that. Another disadvantage, as with any more traditional dry suit you have, is the rubber or latex-like seals. Eventually, with time, they're going to, I think, outgas or be susceptible to damage or tearing, or just with the passage of time become more brittle and prone to cracking, and eventually will need to be repaired. Okay, so the last suit we're going to cover is the Ocean Rodeo Soul. So basically, takes all the best attributes, if you want, from the Heat as well as the O'Neill Boost. Like the O'Neill Boost, it's a more of a traditional dry suit in terms of having all five key seals or openings are a very high quality rubber or latex like material. Extremely tight when they first arrive, uncomfortably so, actually. Consequently, though, the waterproofness of this suit is pretty much unmatched among the three. I went out both windsurfing as well as winging, and I don't think I was even damp. And as with the Ocean Rodeo Heat, it is, in theory anyways, billed as a breathable material. And so even if you are perspiring in it, so it's nice to have that kind of breathable, like almost like a ski parka or jacket type character to it. Now, I should have mentioned that this was the only suit of the three that actually probably I ordered or bought in my size, which is a small. With that said, it was good and bad because, a lot of things like the arms, the inseam probably fit really, really well, like a glove. And so because of that, I will say that wearing the same kind of, underlayer or undergarments that I wore with the other two suits was a bit of a challenge. But I mean, it wasn't anything that impeded its performance. As I alluded to earlier, a big advantage of the Soul over the Heat as well as the Boost was that the Ocean Rodeo Soul does come with a relief zipper or a P zipper. You just got to remember, to make sure you zip that back up before you get back in the water again. As far as disadvantages, this is the suit that I find it really hard to think of any disadvantages or weaknesses to this suit. If I could quibble, I would say the seals were really, really tight. Like, I'm pretty surprised that, like, on this day here, that my hands and fingertips weren't blue. But I think that's quibbling. I think that's true of any new wetsuit, particularly when you have high quality seals. Just like with the O'Neill Boost, is if your feet get cold easily, you don't like the feeling of having your feet wet or wet and cold. Probably won't like the fact that these come with ankle rubber ankle and wrist seals. And to further nitpick or quibble, I mean, because they are rubber / latex like seals, eventually they are going to be prone to become brittle, outgas, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so with all that said, what was my big winner of this dry off? It's a really, really tough question to answer. If I could give an award for most comfortable, one that I could wear all day, literally, hands down, it would be the Ocean Rodeo Heat. In terms of money being no object, you want to completely, you don't want a molecule of water to enter or touch your body. Yeah, hands down, the Soul, as you might expect, is an absolutely phenomenal suit. However, it does come with a pretty, well, they all do, but it comes with a pretty considerable price tag. And I know that if I had not been able to find mine on new on OfferUp from some seller who didn't really know what they had, I mean, there's no way I could afford, that suit. So, however, if we're talking about top value, best value for the retail price, I would have no hesitation at all recommending the O'Neill Boost. Okay, if you don't need, if you don't care how, I mean, let's face it, unstylish. It's not that bad looking, but you know what I mean. If that doesn't matter to you, and you just want to be able to extend your season or go year round, like I was able to, for its price in relation to the Ocean Rodeos. Just a tremendous value. It performed excellent, kept me dry, kept me very comfortable on the beach. But for what I did put it through, the falls that it went through, the combination of both windsurfing and winging that I did with it, I never had any complaints or issues with it. So my best value would definitely, best value award would definitely go to the O'Neill Boost. It's a venerable, highly regarded suit, and now I know why.
And folks, that was the dry off between the Ocean Rodeo Soul, the Ocean Rodeo Heat, as well as the O'Neill Boost. I hope you found it helpful. If you're kind of considering not only a dry suit, but also if you're kind of weighing the pros and cons of each of these particular suits that I've gone over. Hey, if you like this video, we sure would appreciate it if you would hit both like as well as subscribe to this channel to be updated and notified as to the latest videos which drop. Also, regardless of where you are in the United States or in the globe as a whole, if you share a love of both water as well as wind sports, definitely encourage you to join our Facebook group. Until then, as always, this is Ben with Aqua, wishing you good winds and happy sailing.